Lennox Lewis talks about how George Foreman can help Anthony Joshua. Blessed love and blessed day, boxing world, boxing nation, fighting world, fighting nation. It's Coach Fire and this is real life boxing. Lennox Lewis thinks that George Foreman can help Anthony Joshua. Hey, before we get into it, I'm gonna ask you guys to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when new content is being uploaded, and you can be notified when we are going live at Real Life Boxing. Now, Sir Lennox Lewis has been very vocal since Anthony Joshua's shocking defeat to Andy Ruiz. Lennox Lewis said George Foreman could help Anthony Joshua. World Boxing News did an article about it. Lennox Lewis was live. Let's talk about it. Lennox Lewis aired his views on the shocking loss suffered by Anthony Joshua and says George Foreman could be the man to help his fellow Briton. Joshua 29 was dropped 4 times, badly beaten by Andy Ruiz, we know that. In the fallout, Lewis spoke to Inside PBC Boxing. The ex-champ was asked if Joshua should seek help elsewhere for a contracted rematch. I know George Foreman put his name out there. He needs someone of that caliber to talk to, said Lewis, including Sean Porter and Abner Mares. He said that to Sean Porter and Abner Mares. George Foreman helped my career just being commentating on my fights. I'd listen to him. If I was in a fight and he said he's not throwing that jab enough or he's not being authoritative with that jab, I would go away and train. Then I'd be authoritative with that jab, because that's what George said. He knows, he's been there. Quizzed on how highly he rated the victory by Ruiz, Lewis offered his praise, whilst also stating the Mexican should push for the return on home soil. To accomplish being heavyweight champion of the world the way he did it, he really did an excellent job. Congratulations to him. I'm very happy with him and for him. What he's done is history for Mexico. This is history, and for me, his first defense should be in Mexico. So, I thought that was really interesting. The article continues, but I'm not going to read any more of that because I thought that it was interesting that Lennox says George Foreman helped him just by commentating on his fights. He would go back and he would listen to the commentary, to what George had to say, and if it was beneficial to him. And he said if George was saying something, that Lennox Lewis wasn't doing enough or something like that, Lennox Lewis would go back to training camp and made sure that he worked on these specific things that George Foreman said that he wasn't doing in the fight. So I thought that was great for the simple fact we never really hear like fighters talk about stuff like that. How it is having an all-time great commentating on one of their fights. You know what I mean? Like George Foreman was a commentator for a long time. Lennox Lewis, also Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I mean? Like we never really hear, fighters talk about what it was like having, this legendary fighter commentating my fight. So I thought that was interesting that Lennox Lewis said he actually learned from George Foreman just by listening to George commentate his fights. He never had to have, George Foreman in the gym, per se. Just for him to be able to listen to George Foreman critique, what he was doing in a fight was good enough for Lennox Lewis. So I think that's really good. That's really good to hear from a fighter like Lennox Lewis, who was arguably, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Definitely one of the greatest heavyweights of this era or of that era, So I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. Fighters should come out more and talk about stuff like that. Talk about how it is having a legendary, fighter commentating on their fights and what they take out of that. If it helps them, if it doesn't help them, if they would prefer it, if they would not prefer it. Because I thought that that's really interesting. Lennox Lewis says, hey, Big George helped me. He didn't have to be in the gym. Just to have Big George commentating on my fights and listening to Big George critique me, you know, that was good enough. And that also speaks for the fighter that Lennox Lewis was, and for the student of boxing that Lennox Lewis was, and you know how serious he took his career and how he took criticism. That just shows you what type of mindset he has. Someone's talking, you know, someone's saying he's not doing this, he's not doing that. He doesn't go off, you know, and rip them and say, oh, George Foreman doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? You know, who's George Foreman to say I wasn't throwing my jab enough? He respect George Foreman's position enough to take heed to what George Foreman was saying, to go back and to work on this stuff in training camp. So I thought that was big. That speaks a lot about Lennox's character, you know, as a fighter when he was fighting. That speaks a lot about the type of person that he is and the type of fighter that he was. So I want you guys to tell me what y'all think about this in the comment section. I thought that was a great little article. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Could George Foreman be a help to Anthony Joshua? Maybe not even necessarily being in his corner, but just maybe advising him, listening to what Big George has to say. What y'all think about that? Tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section. This is Real Life Boxing. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. If you are subscribed, welcome back, and welcome if you're not subscribed. Make sure you do subscribe. Y'all feel me? Protect yourself at all times. Peace and one love. So if you like this video and you would like to see more great content like this on the channel, go to the PayPal link or the Cash App link in the description and show your appreciation by donating any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. This is Real Life Boxing.